Before the trade market and free agency opened up, if you told me that the Thunder would make the most moves, I most definitely would have said that you are lying. But look at where we are now. Let me just say, the Thunder look like they are playing 2K right now with all the assets they are getting and flipping. This is absolutely insanity. For the most part on the channel, we have been doing a lot of videos revolving around NBA news and rumors because of the time that I started the channel, the time of trades and free agency, which brings a lot of video ideas to say the least. But today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to go all the way back when the Thunder had Paul George and Russell Westbrook, the duo, and see all the assets that the team has gained by trading just those two players and how this will impact the Thunder's future immensely. It's definitely safe to say that when this video actually gets published, the Thunder may have made even more moves, but I waited 3 whole days into free agency, and they have already made so many moves, I honestly cannot see them making that many more in the next couple of days. But I guess we'll just have to see. But before we get into this very interesting video, it would be greatly appreciated if you could subscribe if you're new and join the Woods crew. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers in the first month of having the channel, and we cannot do it without people like you. I appreciate all the love on the last video we've shown. It's got the most views out of any video on the channel, and that is mostly because a lot of you guys hit that like button. It really does help the videos pop off, and I really appreciate it. So if you are liking this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit that like button below. And finally, if you want daily hoops updates on the gram with all that's going on right now, follow me at Woods Hoops. It's always linked below. Now let's go back to this crazy video though. In fact, let's go back in time to the 2018-2019 season when Paul George and Russ were together on the Thunder squad, and they did not even come close to winning a title together. It's safe to say the Thunder team knew that they were not even close to a championship contender, so in July of 2019, they decided to ship out Russell Westbrook and Paul George for massive returns that have now set them up for an insanely bright future. On July 16th, 2019, the Thunder agreed with the Clippers on a trade sending Paul George to LA in exchange for one of the biggest picks packages we have ever seen in the history of basketball. And although this trade was one of the reasons why Kawhi joined the Clippers, you know they still have at least some regret for putting the stake of their future on the line like that. But the Thunder, on the other hand, hit the jackpot with this trade. The package that the Thunder received just for Paul George included young talent Shai Gilgeous Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, and 8 picks or pick swaps. These picks specifically included a Miami Heat 2021 first round pick, a Clippers 2022 first round pick, a 2023 first round pick swap with Miami, a 2024 Miami Heat first round pick, a Clippers 2024 first round pick, a 2025 first round pick swap with Clippers, and finally a 2026 Clippers first round pick. Does listing everything out like that make the package seem a lot bigger to you guys? Because when I saw that the Clippers gave up all that draft capital just for the talent of Paul George, I was a bit speechless. In hindsight, I do feel bad for the Clippers because they didn't know that Paul George would struggle in the playoffs like he did. But the Thunder got an absolute haul for George, setting them up for a bright future. Now, although the Thunder have just lost Gallinari in free agency, they still have Shai Gilgeous Alexander and all those picks, making the trade well worth it. Since this trade, the Thunder haven't flipped any of these assets for new players or picks, but as you will see in the Russell Westbrook trade, they were able to turn this into so many players and picks, it is absolutely mind-blowing. The Westbrook trade also went down in July of 2019 after the Thunder traded away Paul George and were seeking to go full rebuild mode. Russ did not necessarily want to leave OKC, but since the franchise hadn't been able to get to a championship with Westbrook, even when KD was on the team, they decided that it was time to ship him off and start over. Westbrook was traded to the Rockets as a point guard swap for Chris Paul, who looking back was the best fit for Harden and got them the closest to taking a championship ring home for Houston. But that's for another video. The Rockets were looking to upgrade CP3 and saw Russ as the perfect pairing for Harden. So in July of 2019, The Rockets traded the Thunder Chris Paul and a plethora of picks in exchange for Russell Westbrook. These picks included a 2021 first-round pick swap with the Rockets, a 2024 Houston first-round pick, a 2025 first-round pick swap, and a 2026 Houston first-round pick. This also gave the Thunder some extra cash, which has allowed them to make some extra signings this year as well. Now this trade could be even more beneficial for the Thunder than it seems, because the Harden-Westbrook duo is an absolute failure, and it's looking like both of Houston's star guards will be getting traded in the near future. If the Rockets don't get pieces in return that they think can contend for a championship, they may go full rebuild mode as well. And in the early stages of rebuilding, sometimes those teams can be flat out trash. And if this applies for the Rockets, those picks that they sent to the Thunder could go up in value tremendously, allowing them to trade for some great assets or draft a potential superstar. Not only are the Thunder potentially in great position with these picks, but the only player that they acquired in this trade actually turned out to be great for them. I'm talking about Chris Paul. CP3's career honestly looked like it was dying after the Rockets team couldn't succeed in the playoffs. But as soon as Paul was shipped off to the Thunder, he put the Thunder in the position to be a solid playoff team, as well as the fact that he was a great veteran presence for young talents that the Thunder had. Chris Paul played so well in his time with the Thunder that he revived his career, and his trade value went through the roof. Now keep in mind that the Thunder were still looking to rebuild, so a player like CP3 getting them into the playoffs just wasn't necessary for the team. So just last week, the Thunder traded Chris Paul and gained even more assets that originated from a single player, Russell Westbrook. The Thunder agreed with the Suns on a deal sending Chris Paul to Phoenix in exchange for a 2022 Phoenix first-round pick, Ty Jerome, Jalen McQuay, Kelly Oubre Jr., and Ricky Rubio. I really like this trade for the Thunder, especially because of the fact that they flipped two of these players that had decent value for even more picks and assets. Shortly after this trade went down with the Suns, the Thunder quickly flipped Ricky Rubio and Kelly Oubre Jr. with the Warriors and Timberwolves. In the Warriors trade, the Thunder traded Oubre for a 2021 first-round pick if the Warriors are ranked 21 to 30 in the league next year. But if they are higher than that, which they most likely will be, the Thunder get 2 second-round picks instead. In the trade with the Wolves, the Thunder sent Ricky Rubio back to the team that he was drafted to in exchange for James Johnson, draft rights to 2 players that the Wolves drafted this year, and a 2023 Detroit Pistons second-round pick, as well as a Minnesota 2024 first-round pick. Both these trades were solid for the Thunder, being that they didn't need Rubio or Oubre in their rebuilding plan, so they just got even more draft compensation instead. I also wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder flip James Johnson right away as well, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In my eyes, the Thunder absolutely lucked out with how all this went down, especially because of the fact that Chris Paul's trade value went up so much when they got him. Let's just take a moment to give OKC's front office a round of applause for what they have done. As of right now, for PG and Russ, the Thunder were able to obtain 9 first-round picks, 5 pick swaps, 2 Wolves players draft rights, and 4 second-round picks depending on how the Warriors do this year. And not only did they get the insane amount of picks, they were able to keep Shai Gilgeous Alexander, James Johnson, Ty Jerome, and Jalen McQuay. What a haul by the Thunder, to say the least. Now let's talk about the future of the Thunder, because they have one of the most promising long-term futures of any team in the NBA. Not only do the Thunder have all these picks from what we just discussed, but they also have traded many players not involved with the Russell Westbrook or PG trades for even more draft compensation. The Thunder have traded Dennis Schroeder, flipped Danny Green, traded away Steven Adams, and even more for additional draft compensation to add on to the already immense stash that they had. But there you have it. It is honestly mind-boggling at what 2 players in today's league can turn into over time for a team like the Thunder. And I am very excited to see this team 3 to 5 years down the road, because if they are able to draft some solid elite young talents and build a solid core, they should be very scary in the next few years. I was planning on discussing the other Thunder trades that went down more in depth in this video as well, but I think I'm going to save that for another video, so if you are new, make sure you subscribe and join the Woods crew. because you're not going to want to miss it. The next video I plan on putting out will be revolving around the Phoenix Suns and the fact that they may make a title run this season if they can get one more piece they need. But until then, you guys just stay tuned. It's going to be a banger. I hope you all enjoyed this one, and if you did, leaving a like down below would be greatly appreciated. It allows YouTube to push this video to more people, and it allows the Woods crew to grow every day. Thank you all for watching this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Woods out.